Hey grade 10s, Ms Rivait here, and today we're going to learn about some of the features of stem cells, and we're going to look at the process of going from a stem cell to a specialized cell. So all multicellular organisms do start out as a single cell. We call that cell a zygote. And as this cell starts to develop, it's going to divide, and it's going to reach a point where new cells are going to begin to show differences. They're going to show differences in their shape, in the organelles that they contain, and in their function. They're becoming those specialized cells that every multicellular organism needs. And the process that a cell goes through to become specialized is called cellular differentiation. We're not really going to talk about the process of differentiation. You just need to know that the DNA inside of the cell is in charge of this process. So a stem cell is a cell that has not gone through differentiation. It's not specialized yet, but it can become specialized. So when a stem cell divides, it will then develop into a specialized cell. So I have two diagrams here. One of these shows a stem cell that is still found in adult tissues, and these are called multipotent stem cells. And they can divide into only a few cell types within that tissue. So for example, this is a stem cell that would be found inside maybe your intestines. And so they can differentiate into the different cells that are found inside the intestines. But over here, we have a developing embryo. So this would have been like the formation of the zygote over here, and then we have some division, and we don't have any specialization just yet. But here are those pluripotent stem cells. These are going to divide into all of the tissue types that are found inside the human body. So they can become anything. So like I said, there are two major types of stem cells. Embryonic stem cells differentiate into any kind of cell. So they can become a heart cell, they can become a brain cell, an eye cell, a stomach cell, anything in the human body. And then the other kind are adult stem cells or tissue stem cells, and these exist within our specialized tissue. So they're only able to divide or differentiate into a few certain cell types. So another example is the stem cells that are found in the bone marrow, and these can differentiate into any of the blood cell types. So white blood cells, red blood cells, or platelets. So sometimes bone marrow transplants are a successful way to treat cancers of the blood, like leukemia. So this is just kind of showing the process of undergoing a tissue stem cell transplantation. So again, this is one of those ways that can be useful to treat cancer. So if there's somebody that has an issue with their blood, they might need a bone marrow transplant to help them produce healthy blood cells. So they're going to need healthy bone marrow cells from a donor, and that donor has to be carefully matched to make sure that the tissues won't be rejected by the person who needs the donation. Okay, so these healthy stem cells get put into the patient's blood, and when these transplants are successful, the donor blood stem cells are going to grow in the patient's own bone marrow. So it's going to kind of take over and produce those healthy, cancer-free blood cells. So here's just some questions for you to consider about stem cells. What are stem cells? How do stem cells become specialized? Look at some of the similarities and differences. So compare and contrast embryonic stem cells and tissue stem cells. And then maybe you can think of or research some other ways that stem cells are being used in medicine. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.